Angeles, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine too. Well, congratulations for the movie. I really love it. And my first question is, how would you describe the film to someone who hasn't read Gina Musa Wattpad story? For the two of you.
Well, Drew, do you want to take this one or?
Sorry, can you say the question one more time? How does it feel?
How would you describe the film to someone who hasn't
Oh,
Gina
how do I
Musa?
describe the film as somebody who's never read a Gina Musa book? Okay, great question. Um, well, I know that there's this. I know that Wattpad is like a genre in its own, and I think that sometimes does that translate to film is a very like fine line. And what I think in terms of this, I think it really pays homage to Gina's book. I also think that it stays very truthful to it, especially the message and the core intent of the character Whitney and what she wants. And I mean, this is really Whitney Carmichael's story. It's a story about her. And that was so prevalent in the book. I really hope we did it justice on screen. So if you've never seen or if you've never read a Gina Musa book, just know that it's like definitely a story about loving someone, which I think all Wattpad stories are. It's about romance and loving someone, but it's just as equally, if not more, about loving yourself too.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And I would say, like a lot of Wattpad, it definitely is a romance for sure. But I think also what makes it special is the comedy of it. And also we just had actually so much fun shooting this. And I think the comedy comes off in that kind of way. And yeah, and I think also just as a standalone film, it feels nostalgic and like summer camp and like its own rom-com. So yeah.
Okay. My second question is, how did you prepare for your role in the film? Did you have to do any special training or something like that? Yeah.
That's a great question. Well, I think when I was cast, I think I had like 10 days before I was supposed to be in Vancouver. So it was the most beautiful whirlwind, and I think it was even shorter casting for the rest of the cast. So it was such an amazing experience to be thrown into. And almost every day we had something crazy physical that we were doing, whether it was jumping through the ropes trampoline, like sky trampoline thing, or jumping from a podium or running or whatever. But I think for me specifically with Whitney, I wanted to make it more about her inner journey and less about her outside appearance. And I talked with Mackenzie, the director, a lot about that, and she brought up specifics about like posture and how different it becomes throughout the journey. And we kind of looked at her as a couple different versions, like Whitney 1.0, Whitney 2.0, and then Irabelle. And we kind of came up with like different ways that she would present herself and how she was feeling internally and how that presented in simple things like her posture or how she simply wore her hair or something like that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to prepare with Mackenzie.
Well, this question is, how would you describe the evolution of your character through the film?
Did you say the evolution?
Yes, the evolution of your character.
I would definitely say it's something close to home for sure. And I remember reading the script after the first audition before the callback, and I read this specific line that appears in the trailer as well. I think it's like, to do something knowing you might fail, I know just how hard that can be. And I just remember thinking, oh, well, okay, this is me. And this is so personal to my own story. And I think it was just really beautiful to see that written out. And I think Gina wrote an incredible book and Gemma wrote an amazing script. And I think it's really a standalone story. I you know, as an actor, I don't really get to see a lot of stories like this one that's handled with so much sensitivity and care. And I think the story that Whitney goes on is less about her physical appearance and more about her learning to love her romantic partners, her friends, and most importantly, herself.
Exactly. Good answer. And you, Drew?
Evolution of my character. The evolution I would say is lots of body oil, a little bit of body oil, not so much body oil, and at the end, the perfect balance of body oil.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, no, I was like, you know, from the audition, I think I first time I read with Rachel after we went and had dinner, and she was like, were you wearing body oil in the audition? And I was like, guilty as charged. But oh, that was so good.
I swear to God, he had like steam in the background.
No. It was a hot summer day. Let me add this. It was a hot summer day. My AC wasn't working and I was getting ready. I was waiting. I was pumping up, trying to, you know, this guy's supposed to be a big buff guy. And I wanted to insinuate that the most. But I think for Axel, you know, he's a sadistic sort of meathead on the outside, and he's this, you know, he gets pleasure from, you know, making people work out really hard, and I think there's a lot of fun in that character portrayal. But I think if you dig a little deeper, there's reasons to why he's like that, and he's harboring a trauma that essentially makes him more guarded, and he's built up this physical exterior, but it's metaphorically also this this wall that keeps people out. And I think as he gets to know Whitney more, he sees that she's somebody who's confident, can lead, and I think because of who she's becoming, the more comfortable with herself that she becomes, the more willing he is to open up and show her who he is. And I feel like by the end of the story, you sort of, these two characters kind of meet in the middle as to those themes and elements. And yeah, that's where I think Axel goes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just about Whitney's personal journey too. I think it's also about Axel's and also Willow's. Everyone goes on a journey, but I but I love that it doesn't send the message that, you know, it's just Whitney that needs to learn to love herself too, because I think Axel does as well, I would say.
Yeah, there's some really like at the end of the day, what I want people to take from this film, what I want people to feel, is that you know, the what I was very pleasantly surprised with when I first watched it is that at its surface level, it's a very, you know, simple boot camp rom-com. But really once you're in it and once you're watching the movie, it really has a lot of heart. And yes, it deals with like pretty classic themes of learn to love yourself, but I think it does it in such a way that is so fit for 2024. And it's great to see I think two characters at the forefront of this film that you know, are like Rachel and I know that it really meant a lot to us for us to be able to have an opportunity to tell a story like this when a lot of, like, you know, people like, they'll look at these Wattpad stories and all of the who would you fan cast and who would you do this and who do you want, and it's not always like, people like us, a person of color or something like that. And it's great that we have this opportunity. We hope we can do the story justice, and we realize the privilege that we have, and it's just been wonderful. I'm gonna shut up now. Okay.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Perfect. And my last question is a fun one. Do you think that in 20 years, Whitney and Alex will still be together?
Oh my God, we talked about this, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say what I said. Do you remember
Go
what
ahead.
I said?
No, yeah, go ahead.
I was like, I think they've gotten married and then divorced a couple of times.
Really?
Yeah. No, but I mean, I would like to think that they got married, had some kids, and started their own little summer camp. That would be really cute.
Yeah, there was thoughts of like, Whitney comes back and she's a counselor, and then they take over the summer camp, and I sort of imagine that. I also imagine them retreating to like a little tiny farm with some chickens and some little ones.
I see that.
But after.
He's out there hay baling every day,
Yeah, milking some cows. Yeah.
Their books together by the campfire. Yeah.
They recreate it every night.
Sure.
Of course.
Thank you so much for your time. It was really a pleasure talking to you, and congrats for the film. It's really awesome. And I have to say it, after Bridgerton season 3, this is the first time I really see people like me or seems like me in a movie, in a romantic movie and self-empowerment movie. So thank you for that.
Oh my God, Raquel, thank you so much. Seriously, we love you.